fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Years ago, Gary Larson wrote a comic strip in The Far Side about the various moods of an Irish setter. And it went from happy to suicidal without changing the expression on the dog's face. Now, I took offense to that. Dogs have a lot of personality. Case in point, Pippin. He developed a sense of humor. So I was going to go over how a dog could develop a sense of humor. My sisters went to the pound and found a new dog when they thought we needed one. And it just snuggled up so closely to them, they just couldn't resist it. So they brought this cute little puppy home, showed it to my mother. My mother said, "That's the ugliest dog I ever saw in my life." Not exactly what they were expecting. So dogs wanting to please their people, of course, went out of its way trying to please my mother. What finally worked was my father found this little round doggy treat that would roll across their floor. And the dog would chase it, pick it up in his mouth, and he'd throw it. And he'd chase it again, pick it up in his mouth, and throw it. And eventually you'd eat it. Then my mother thought that was the cutest thing in the entire universe. You'd think that, new puppy, you go out and buy him squeaky toys. So we get him some squeaky toys, and he'd pick up the toy and play with it a little while. Sometimes he'd get a little too excited, and he'd bite down a little too hard, and it would squeak. And he'd drop it, run behind the chair as fast as he could, in complete terror. And this was supposed to be our watchdog. We had really high expectations with this dog, you can tell. The dog did start developing his own games. One of them was grab the washcloth and make people chase him. We kept the clothes in a hamper, actually a basket, so he could easily reach in and grab it. So he'd grab one and go into my parents' room, and they could see him. At least he thought he could see him, and he'd run out real fast. Well, they weren't always the most observant of individuals. So he'd go a little further in, kind of shake it, and run out again. Well, needless to say, eventually, when we were cleaning up, we'd find this large stack of washcloths sitting behind one of the chairs where he'd hid them. This escalated. He would go in and get one of my sister's panties. Not only that, he would sneak out into the backyard with them. Did I mention we lived on a pathway where people walked up and down and could see things in our backyard very easily, going to and from school and work? What can I say? He developed this sense of humor where you could tell he was playing a joke on us, because he'd smile and he'd look around and make sure everybody was enjoying his joke. It was surprising that a dog could have a sense of humor, but he did seem to have one. He would do a number of stunts where he would do this thing. He said, "Ain't I cute?" He also did some little annoying things. He used to sit in the middle, or sleep in the middle of the floor where my parents were getting on in years. So I started taking a box of Kleenexes, and I'd give it a little push. And at the instant it landed at him, I go, boom! After he got his claws out of the ceiling and dropped back to earth, he'd give me this nice, sweet look. I'm glad I don't understand dogs. I'm sure he was saying something that's not too nice. He'd grumble and go behind the chair and sleep. Eventually, he just stopped sleeping in the middle of the floor. Going on with another point, we taught him how to chase squirrels. And he'd get really excited when he chased a squirrel. We had this window that looked out the backyard and the side door. When he said, "Squirrel, squirrel," he'd jump on the chair, take a quick look around. He couldn't possibly see anything because the dog's eyes didn't have to. Jump off the chair, start whining, running towards the door. Of course, we could catch up with him that quickly. We let him out the door. He'd run inside the hill, and as soon as he got around the corner of the house, start barking real loud. I mention that because sometimes he'd just get up on the chair and look out the window. and he slipped on the arm of the chair. He fell down and hit his chest on the arm of the chair. Went, my brother was sitting on the chair next to him. He thought this was hilarious. I didn't think it was so funny initially because I thought the dog might have hurt himself. Well, the dog didn't think it was too funny either. He got off the chair. He grabbed the pillow and he shook it as hard as he could. Of course, that only made my brother laugh harder. So, when someone's laughing that hard, you have to join in. So I start laughing. And the dog didn't think that was too funny either. So he went over and he bit me. To make a long story short, I then found out the difference between laughing with somebody and laughing at somebody. Madam Toastmaster.